He didn't love you. He studied you, learned your triggers, memorized your kindness, then used it all against you. Let that sink in. If that line made your stomach twist, good. That's the part of you that knows the truth, the part that's been screaming quietly while the rest of you kept making excuses for a man who was never going to choose you. So before we go any further, press that like button like you're slamming the door on your past, and hit subscribe like you're locking it behind you for good. You didn't land here by accident. You're here because something inside you is tired of being lied to, tired of being played, tired of carrying a heart that keeps bleeding for someone who doesn't even bother to wipe up the mess he made. Welcome back to the channel, my love. And let me say this with all the fire you need to hear. You didn't lose him. He was never yours to begin with. You lost pieces of yourself trying to hold on to a man who was using you as a placeholder, a pit stop, a soft shoulder until something shinier came along. And the worst part, you knew it. Deep down, every time he pulled away, every time he disappeared, every time your gut screamed, "This isn't love," you ignored it. You silenced yourself to keep him comfortable. You sacrificed your peace so he could keep treating you like a second choice. You know what you are now? You're a woman bleeding out in silence, wondering why your love wasn't enough. And I'm here to tell you, it wasn't supposed to be, because no amount of love is ever enough for a man who doesn't want to be kept. No loyalty, no patience, no forgiveness is ever enough for someone who feeds off your pain and calls it just going through something. He wasn't going through anything. He was choosing to hurt you, over and over, because you let him. I remember a woman I worked with last year. Let's call her Alina. She gave everything to this man, helped him launch his business, took care of his daughter from another woman, even forgave him when she found the second phone in his car. She told me, he's just scared of real love. No, girl, he wasn't scared. He was greedy. He was careless. He was comfortable. You were the one scared. Scared to be alone. Scared to accept the truth. Scared to admit you've been wasting your love on someone who was never going to return it. And now, look at you. Exhausted. Shattered. Wondering why he doesn't care. Here's the truth. He never did. He cared about the benefits, not you. And you gave him more chances than he ever deserved. Not because he was worthy, but because you didn't think you were. You've been sold a lie. That love is about sacrifice. That being patient, loyal, and forgiving will eventually earn you the love you deserve. That if you just hold on long enough, he'll finally wake up and change. But let me rip that lie out by the root. He's not going to change. And even if he does, it won't be for you. It'll be for someone else, someone who didn't suffer, someone who didn't beg. You did not come this far to stay on your knees. So here's what I want you to do. Say it out loud. I deserve better. Now type it in the comments. Let him see it. Let the universe hear it. But most importantly, let you believe it. Because what comes next? It's not healing, it's transformation. The kind that turns silence into power. The kind that makes him panic. The kind that makes you rise. Stay with me. Let's begin. Number 1. He never loved you. He loved controlling you. So, my dear, you still think it was love, don't you? That thing he gave you, the highs, the kisses, the sweet nothings whispered at midnight when no one else was listening. You still want to call it love. But it wasn't. That wasn't love. That was control. That was a game. That was a man feeding you just enough to keep you hooked, then pulling it all back when he knew you were starving for more. Let's be real. He never loved you. He loved the power he had over you. He loved watching you break your own heart just to stay close to him. And the sick part? Society clapped for it, called it passion, called it fighting for love, said, real relationships are hard, they take work. No, that wasn't hard. That was hell. That wasn't a relationship. That was emotional warfare, and you were the only one fighting. You know what he loved? He loved knowing he could disappear for 3 days, and you'd still be there waiting. He loved knowing he could flirt with other women right in front of you, and then twist your reaction into "you're just insecure." He loved when you cried, when you doubted yourself, when you blamed yourself for everything he did. You were his puppet, and your pain was his string. You weren't his piece, you were his project, and worse, his puppet. Love doesn't feel like confusion. Love is peace. If he made you anxious, he wasn't your peace. He was your poison. I know you want to believe he cared, but let me rip the mask off this lie for you. If someone loves you, they don't weaponize silence. They don't disappear when you need them. They don't make you beg for basic affection. He was feeding your wounds just enough to keep them bleeding. He never wanted to heal you. He wanted to own you. And here's the most painful part. Society told you this is what love looks like. They taught you to be ride or die. They made movies about it. They made songs about it. A woman forgiving, enduring, suffering, because love conquers all, right? That's the story they fed you since you were a child. That if you love someone hard enough, they'll change. That your pain will be worth it in the end. That loyalty is more important than self-respect. They lied to you. You were raised to believe that your love can fix a man, but real love doesn't fix broken people. It respects boundaries. So you stayed. You stayed every time he turned cold, every time he belittled you, rolled his eyes, shrugged off your emotions. You stayed when your friends begged you to walk. You stayed when your soul was screaming to leave. You stayed because you were taught that leaving meant failure, when in truth, staying was the betrayal. Staying was the self-destruction. You kept calling that chaos chemistry. No, girl, that wasn't chemistry. That was trauma bonding. You confused the thrill of being chased, hurt, and apologized to with depth. You called it passion because every time he broke you, he gave you just enough afterward to make you believe he cared. You were trained to believe that real love has to be messy and painful to be meaningful. But that's not love. That's addiction. He wasn't a lover, he was a supplier, and you were addicted to his approval. He taught you to crave his crumbs. He trained you to think that his bare minimum was something special, and here you are, starving, thinking the problem is you. When the truth is, you've been feasting on poison disguised as love. Let me tell you a story. A girl named Marcy. She came to me shattered. This man she loved had cheated 4 times, 4, and every time he spun it, told her he was lost, confused, that he needed her help, her patience, her love. And she gave it, again and again, until she was a shell of the woman she used to be. She lost her job, cut off her friends, stopped eating. She was dying emotionally. And he was thriving. He was out partying, sleeping with other women, calling her crazy when she cried. It wasn't until the 5th time he cheated and blamed her for it that she finally snapped out of it. She realized she wasn't in love. She was in prison. And maybe you're not there yet. Maybe you're still clinging to the fantasy that he'll come back and be better. But let me give it to you straight. He won't, because you've already shown him that he doesn't have to. He knows you'll forgive him. He knows you'll stay. You've been giving him loyalty while he gives you lies. And until you break the cycle, you'll keep bleeding and calling it love. I know this hurts. I know you're crying. I know it feels like your heart's being ripped out. But let it hurt. Let it all hurt. Because this is the pain of waking up. This is the pain of peeling off the illusion. This is what truth feels like when you've been drowning in lies for too long. But here's the other side of that pain: power. Because the moment you stop calling it love, the moment you stop romanticizing the damage, the moment you realize he never loved you, and that you deserve a man who does, that's when everything changes. The woman who sees the game stops playing it. The woman who sees the lie walks away. Say it out loud right now. That was not love. Now write it in the comments. Let him see it. Let the universe hear it. Let you believe it. Because in the next part, we're going even deeper. You're about to see how you trained him to disrespect you, and how to untrain the world to treat you like you're disposable. Stay with me. This is where the fire begins. This is where you rise. This is where you say it. One more time. I choose me. Number 2. Why you kept giving, and he kept taking. So let's talk about why you kept giving, and giving, and giving, until you were empty and he was full. You thought if you loved him harder, if you stayed patient, if you were softer, kinder, quieter, he'd finally see your worth. You thought love meant proving yourself. So you kept showing up for a man who didn't even know how to show up for himself. And in return, he gave you breadcrumbs, silence, excuses, and somehow you called that love. Let me tell you the truth you've been running from. You weren't loving him. You were trying to earn him. That's not love, sweetheart. That's desperation dressed up in loyalty. That's the pick-me syndrome society drilled into you since you were a little girl. Be nice, be sweet, be loyal, be quiet, be patient, be less. And maybe he'll pick you. What they never told you is this: you don't win a man by disappearing into his shadow. You know how he saw it? Every time you gave more, he took more. Not because he loved you, but because he knew he could. You taught him that the more he ignored you, the more you'd try. That the more he hurt you, the harder you'd love him. You made pain the price of staying. And girl, he made you pay. Let me tell you about this girl I read about online. Her name was Tara. She worked 2 jobs, paid this man's car note, bought groceries for his apartment, which she didn't even live in. She watched his dog, nursed him through being depressed, sat with him while he texted other women, and every time she caught him, he'd say, "You're overthinking." She forgave him when he cheated, twice, and you know how he repaid her? He packed up and left. No warning, no thank you. Just a text that said, "I need to find myself." She gave him everything, and he walked away like she was nothing. That's what happens when you love someone more than you love yourself. You were pouring water into a cup with a hole in the bottom and wondering why he never felt full. You thought it meant you weren't enough. But the truth is, no one is enough for someone who only knows how to take. You were giving from a place of fear that if you stopped giving, he'd leave. But hear me loud and clear. If giving less makes someone walk away, they were only ever there to use you. This isn't love. This is survival. This is you hoping your worth will be recognized once you've bled enough. But let me ask you something. Where is he now? Is he there holding you, loving you, thanking you for everything you did? No. He's living his life like you were just a pit stop, because you weren't a woman to him. You were a resource. And that's not your fault. You were conditioned to believe love is sacrifice. They told you the right woman can change a man. No, she can't. You can't fix a man who doesn't see himself as broken. You can't heal someone who cuts you and then blames you for bleeding. You've been told your value comes from how much pain you can take. That being chosen means waiting quietly in the background until he's ready. But here's the hard truth. If he was ready for you, he wouldn't have made you suffer for his love. The woman who overgives ends up empty. The man who overtakes ends up ungrateful. And now you're sitting here thinking, maybe if I had done more. Stop it. You did more than enough, and he still chose to walk away because he wasn't with you for love. He was with you for convenience. Say this out loud right now. I'm done overgiving. Now type it in the comments. Let him see it. Let the universe hear it. But most importantly, let you believe it. Because in the next part, I'm going to show you how he saw your kindness as weakness and used it like a weapon. You think he fell for you? No, baby. He studied you. And next, we're going to pull apart how he played you like a game. Stay sharp. It's time you stop playing the fool. Number 3, he read you like a book and played you like a game. So let's stop pretending he fell for you. He didn't fall. He calculated. He watched the way your voice softened when you talked about your past. He noticed the way you forgave too quickly, how your eyes dropped when you tried to stand up for yourself. He saw the cracks in your self-esteem, and instead of protecting them, he used them. You weren't loved. You were studied. You weren't chosen. You were targeted. He didn't fall for you. He studied you like a cheat code. Because that's what manipulators do. They don't stumble into relationships. They hunt. And you? You were perfect prey. Kind. Software. Empathetic. Always giving the benefit of the doubt. You kept thinking your love could fix him. He knew that. That's why he picked you. Because he knew you'd stay. Knew you'd try. Knew you'd forgive. Again. And again. And again. You want to know how these men work? Here's the real-life playbook. First, they love bomb you. He came in fast, didn't he? Texted all day. Called you wifey by week 2. Talked about how different you were. Made promises he had no intention of keeping. Why? Because that's how they hook you. He gave you a fantasy, a fairy tale. So when the mask fell, you'd already be addicted to the dream. Then came the ghosting. Out of nowhere, he vanished. No explanation, no goodbye. You stared at your phone like it was broken. He came back like nothing happened. You forgave him. He smiled. He knew he had you. Then it was the gaslighting. You asked questions, and suddenly you're the problem. He flipped everything. You were too emotional, too clingy, too jealous. He made you question your own sanity. You started apologizing for being hurt. You actually said sorry for crying, while he sat there cold, unmoved. And after all that, he gave you just enough to stay. That's breadcrumbing, a text here, a call there. Just enough to keep you hopeful, just enough to keep you stuck. He never gave you the relationship. He gave you potential, and you lived off that potential like it was real. Let me tell you something ugly. He knew exactly what he was doing. He saw your kindness as weakness and used it like a weapon. You think manipulators are dumb? No, they're calculated. They look for women like you, women who overlove, women who over-apologize, women who have been taught that they have to earn love, not just receive it. They don't want strong boundaries. They don't want women who say no. They want soft targets. And if you're honest, you knew it too. You felt it. You felt the switch. You felt when the excitement turned to confusion, when the I love yous started sounding mechanical, when your gut twisted every time your phone stayed silent. But instead of trusting your intuition, you drowned it. You told yourself you were overthinking. That's what he wanted. He trained you to ignore your truth. This isn't about you being stupid. You're not. You were hopeful. You wanted to believe in love. You were raised to think that love is about patience, about loyalty. But what no one taught you is this: love without respect is just emotional slavery. You were loyal to a lie, and that lie drained you. He didn't love you. He used you. You were never in a relationship. You were in a game, and he was the only one playing. You were loving him while he was strategizing. He wasn't confused. He wasn't broken. He wasn't just going through a lot. He was calculating every move, knowing that your heart would keep covering for his behavior. He didn't admire your heart. He exploited it. So now you need to flip the page. You've been an open book for too long. Always readable, always reachable, always available. It's time to become the chapter he can't finish, the story he can't re-enter, the woman he will never understand again. Say this out loud, right now. I am not a game. Now type it in the comments. Let him see it. Let the universe hear it. But most importantly, let you believe it. Because next, we're going even deeper. You think he played you because he's smart? No. He played you because you trained him to. You taught him how far you'd bend. You taught him that he could hurt you, and you'd stay. Stay with me. Because what comes next? It's the mirror you've been avoiding. Number 4, the lie you keep telling yourself. So let's talk about the lie. The one you keep whispering to yourself when the silence gets too loud. He's just broken. He's been through a lot. He just needs to heal. No, stop it. Just stop. He's not broken, my love. He's comfortable. Comfortable with you sacrificing your sanity to keep him emotionally alive. Comfortable watching you tear yourself apart just to glue him back together. Comfortable with you giving 100 while he gives nothing but excuses. He's not broken. He's comfortable. You're the one broken from giving him everything while he gave you nothing. You keep telling yourself he's a good man going through a hard time, but the truth is, he's a grown man making bad choices, and you're the one paying for them. You're not helping him heal. You're enabling him to stay exactly the same. I know that's hard to hear. I know you've built your whole world around the idea that if you just stay long enough, love him hard enough, support him through every mess he makes, then maybe one day he'll become the man you deserve. But let me give it to you straight. He won't. Let me tell you about a woman I worked with, Jenna. Sweet, loyal, soft-hearted Jenna. She stayed with a man who promised he was working on himself. He started therapy. He journaled. He even read a self-help book or two. And she believed it. She held on, telling herself that he was healing, that the emotional abuse would stop, that the gaslighting would fade, that one day he'd wake up and love her the way she loved him. But months passed, then years, and nothing changed. He kept lying, kept stonewalling, kept using her as his emotional punching bag. You know why? Because therapy doesn't work on people who don't take responsibility. Healing doesn't happen to people who don't want to change. You can't heal a man who's still defending his wounds. You can't help someone who blames everyone but himself. You can't fix someone who doesn't even think he's broken. You're trying to save a man drowning you. He's dragging you under, and instead of swimming to shore, you keep diving deeper, hoping the love you offer will turn him into something he's never been. But all it's doing is drowning you both. Actually, no, it's drowning you. He's not even gasping for air. He's fine. He's breathing just fine, on your oxygen. You keep romanticizing his damage because it gives you a reason to stay. You tell yourself, he's not mean, he's just hurting. He doesn't know how to love. He needs time. No, what he needs is accountability, and what you need is the courage to walk away. Let me say something hard. He knows what he's doing. He knows when he's being distant. He knows when he's ignoring your calls. He knows when he's dismissing your feelings, turning every argument into your fault, acting cold, then suddenly warm when he feels you slipping. That's not confusion. That's strategy. That's control. And while you're sitting here praying he heals, he's out there repeating the same cycles with no intention of stopping, because he doesn't have to. You're still there. You're still crying over him, still answering, still hoping, still loving him through the pain. And you keep telling yourself that this is what strong women do, that staying is strength. But let me tell you something. Walking away is strength. Holding your boundaries is strength. Choosing yourself over chaos is strength. You don't need to prove how much you love him. You need to prove how much you love yourself. Say it with me right now. I am not his rehab. Now type it in the comments. Let him see it. Let the universe hear it. But most importantly, let you believe it. Because next, we're going to talk about how you trained him to disrespect you. You think he's just broken? No, he's been watching how far you'll bend and how little he has to give in return. Stay with me. We're just getting started. Number 5, you trained him to disrespect you. You want the truth? Here it is, raw, real, and probably not what you want to hear. You trained him to treat you like this. Yeah, read that again. Let it sting. Let it burn. Because it's the kind of pain that wakes you up. Every time you forgave him without consequences, you trained him. Every time you stayed, you taught him you'd never leave. You didn't just let him disrespect you, you showed him how. You handed him the script. You taught him exactly what he could get away with and exactly how far he could push before you'd cave. And guess what? He took notes. He learned your tolerance. He memorized the breaking points you never followed through on. You want to know why he doesn't take you seriously? Because you never made him. You say things like, "I'm done," and then text him 2 days later. You say, "If you ever lie again, I'm gone," and then you stay when he does. You block him, but he makes a fake account, sends a "I miss you" message, and boom, you're back. You call it love. He calls it predictable. Let me tell you about Naomi. She came to me crying, swearing she was finally done. She had blocked her ex on everything, phone, social media, even Venmo. But then he messaged her on a burner account saying, "I've changed." And just like that, she let him back in. Within 2 weeks, the gaslighting returned, the cheating, the emotional roller coaster, and she said to me, "Why does he keep doing this to me?" And I had to say it, "Because you let him." That's not being harsh, that's being honest, because until you own your part in the pattern, you'll keep repeating it. Here's what men like him understand. People don't respect what they don't fear losing. And he never feared losing you, not once, not truly. He knew your love was unconditional. He knew your forgiveness was free. He knew no matter how bad he messed up, all he had to do was wait or send a half-hearted "I miss you" text, and you'd come crawling back. You think you're showing loyalty. He sees it as weakness. He knows he doesn't have to change because you don't require it. You've been too afraid to walk away, too scared to make silence permanent, too addicted to the hope that he'll one day become the man you imagined. And while you're holding on to that fantasy, he's playing the game and winning. You gave him the cheat sheet to play you. Now it's time to flip the test. You keep handing him all the answers, your triggers, your fears, your boundaries that don't really exist. He's not dumb, he's strategic. And right now, he knows you're bluffing. That's why every time you say, "This is the last time," he doesn't panic. He waits, because he knows you're coming back. So here's what you have to do. Stop talking. Stop warning. Stop threatening. Just act. Don't block and unblock. Block and disappear. Don't cry and hope he'll change. Cry and move. Don't argue. Don't explain. Don't plead. Let your absence say what your words never could. You want to teach him a lesson. You don't do it by yelling. You do it by being gone when he comes looking. Because men like him only learn when the supply is cut off, when the pattern ends, when the person they took for granted finally becomes unavailable. Say this out loud right now. I taught him, now I unteach him. Now type it in the comments. Let him see it. Let the universe hear it. But most importantly, let you believe it. Because what's coming next is deeper. You want revenge? You want him to regret it? Then let's talk about the one thing that will haunt him more than anything else. Your silence. Stay with me. Let's make him panic. Number 6. Want revenge? Go silent. Let him panic. So you want revenge. Not the petty kind. Not screaming over texts or throwing his stuff out the window. That's drama, and he thrives on that. He knows how to twist it, spin it, make you look like the unstable one. That's not revenge. That's still giving him power. You want real revenge? Go silent. Disappear. Quietly. Fully. Without a single word. No closure. No warning. No goodbye text. Nothing. Silence is power. Disappear. That's how you play with his mind. Because he doesn't fear your anger. He fears your indifference. He fears a version of you that doesn't need him, doesn't miss him, doesn't respond. That version of you, that's his nightmare. Because he's always counted on you to break, to chase, to cry, to call, to come back. He's used to being the flame and you the moth. He's used to you spinning in circles trying to prove your love. But now you're done dancing in his fire. Now you become the storm he didn't see coming. I had a client once. Her name was Layla. She was the classic giver, always texting, always forgiving, always explaining herself. Until one day something inside her snapped. Not in rage, not in tears, in stillness. She blocked him, changed her number, deleted every trace, and she never said a word. A week later, he sent her a message through his friend's account. Please just talk to me. A few days after that, he emailed her, then called her job. He spiraled. And do you know what Layla did? Nothing. She didn't respond. She didn't open the message. She let her absence speak for her. Let your absence haunt him. Don't give him the show. Give him silence. You think talking will help him understand. It won't. You think explaining will finally make him get it. It won't. You think pouring your heart out will make him realize your worth. It won't. Silence is your closure, because silence forces him to sit with what he's done. It creates space for his consequences. It makes him question everything, and most importantly, it frees you from the cycle. Because the moment you stop reacting, the moment you stop feeding him attention, that's when you reclaim your power. He wants a reaction. He feeds off it. Whether it's tears or yelling or desperate love, it keeps you emotionally tethered to him. But when you go still, when you vanish without the show, he loses control. He's used to you chasing. Now be the ghost he can't reach. Let him feel the emptiness he left you in. Let him hear the silence that once echoed in your heart. Let him taste the panic of not knowing where you are or what you're thinking. He will text. He will stalk. He will try to bait you. Doctor, not respond. Don't text back. Don't post a revenge story. Don't give him access to the version of you he broke. Let him chase a memory. Let him drown in the silence he created. This isn't about making him suffer. This is about making you free. Because the moment you go quiet, you're no longer trying to teach him a lesson. You're choosing peace over performance. You're no longer waiting for him to change. You're no longer hoping for closure. You've become the one who ends the game without saying a word. So say this out loud right now. My silence is my power. Now type it in the comments. Let him feel it. Let the universe hear it. But most importantly, let you believe it. Because next, we're going even colder. You think he's panicking now. Wait until he sees you rise. Not bitter, not broken, untouchable. Stay with me. The glow-up is coming. Number 7. Your power comes back when you walk away, without warning. You think you need to say one last thing. You don't. You think he deserves an explanation, closure, one more, "I just want you to understand." He doesn't. He doesn't deserve your words. He deserves your disappearance. Let me say this as clearly as possible. You don't owe him anything. Not your voice, not your tears, not your energy, not your goodbye. If he cared, you wouldn't be here. If he respected you, you wouldn't be bleeding. If he loved you the way you loved him, you wouldn't be rebuilding yourself from the ground up. You're not walking away to punish him. You're walking away to save yourself. But here's the catch. You've got to do it cold. No warning, no dramatics, no "let's talk." Don't slam the door. Just close it and vanish. Let the silence echo. He's expecting you to crumble. He's expecting a breakdown. He's expecting your usual tears and explanations. Don't give it to him. Give him something he's never seen before. Stillness, calm, peace. Because that's what will haunt him. You want to know what a man never recovers from? It's not the screaming, not the breakdowns, not the late-night paragraphs. It's when you go ghost and don't look back. That's what confuses him. That's what makes him panic. That's what makes him spiral. You gave him unlimited chances. You cried. You begged. You fought. You showed him love he never earned. And still, he chose disrespect. Still, he chose carelessness. Now, it's your turn to choose. Burn the bridge, but do it in silence. Because when you disappear without a show, he doesn't get closure either. He doesn't get to rewrite the story and play the victim. He doesn't get to say, "She was crazy." He doesn't get to feel in control of how it ends. You took that power back the moment you said nothing. You want real peace? Don't argue. Don't explain. Just go. Block him. Delete the thread. Walk out of his life like he never existed. The same way he treated your heart when it was inconvenient for him to care. You think he'll forget you? Oh no. He'll remember the silence. He'll remember the moment you stopped chasing. He'll remember the calm, the stillness, the way you ended it without needing to scream about it. That's the move he'll never recover from. Because silence is louder than screaming when it comes from a woman who's finally had enough. And you've had enough. You've done enough. You were enough. Now it's time to walk like you know it. Say it with me right now. I walk away in silence. Now type it in the comments. Let him feel it. Let the universe hear it. But most importantly, let you believe it. Because next, we're done talking about him. Now it's about you. Not survival, ascension, not healing, rising. Stay with me. You're about to become untouchable. Number 8, don't just heal, become untouchable. Now that you've walked away, now that you've gone quiet, now that you've stopped chasing, don't just heal, become untouchable. This isn't about bouncing back so you can show him what he lost. This is about becoming so powerful, so centered, so self-owned, that he couldn't reach you again if he begged on his knees. Not because you're bitter, but because you've evolved beyond the version of you who ever needed him in the first place. Let's be clear. You are not healing for him. You are healing from him. You weren't too much. You were just too real for a man who wasn't ready. You broke your own heart trying to shrink for someone who couldn't handle your light. You dimmed yourself, softened your tone, held back your fire, just to keep him comfortable. But no more. You want the blueprint? I'll give it to you. Start with boundaries, not walls, not fear. Boundaries, standards that are non-negotiable. You don't explain them. You don't apologize for them. You enforce them. Because a woman with boundaries is a woman who values her peace more than attention. Then comes peace. Learn to sit with yourself. In silence, in solitude. Let your nervous system detox from the chaos he fed it. Make your peace your new addiction. Not his text, not his voice, not the illusion of maybe he's changed. Peace is where your power lives. Now for the glow-up. And I'm not just talking looks. Yes, take care of your body, your skin, your health. But I'm talking about the inner glow-up, your soul, your standards, your mindset. Feed your goals. Fuel your purpose. Go build something that has nothing to do with him and everything to do with who you're becoming. And finally, purpose. Stop surviving. Start building. Start dreaming again. Get obsessed with your life. Not in a look what you lost kind of way, but in a I can't believe I almost settled for that kind of way. Because guess what? One day he's going to look at you and not even recognize the woman you've become. And that's the closure. You don't need closure. You don't need revenge. You need to rise so high he can't even recognize the woman you've become. You are not here to stay broken. You are not here to chase healing forever. You are here to become untouchable, a woman who cannot be manipulated, cannot be disrespected, cannot be silenced. You want to shake the world? Then start by shaking your old self off. You want to leave a mark? Then stop leaving yourself behind in the name of love. You don't go back. You don't explain. You rise. Let your silence be the storm that destroys everything he thought he could control. Let it shake his ego. Let it rip apart the version of you he thought he'd always have access to. Let your healing be the earthquake that makes sure he never finds steady ground again. Not in your world. Say it with me right now. I am untouchable. Now type it in the comments. Let him feel it. Let the universe hear it. But most importantly, let you believe it, because this is your rebirth. This is the woman you were always meant to become. Strong, clear, whole, done begging, done breaking, done waiting. This was never about getting him back. This was about getting you back. And baby, she's back. And that brings us to the truth you needed to hear. You're not here to beg, fix, or chase. You're here to rise. You're here to reclaim your power. If this woke something up in you, like the video, subscribe for more truth, and share this with a sister who needs it.